Good to see everyone. I can't believe we're now in the end of June. It's very strange. It's been a bit surreal these past months. I hope everyone is well. I hope everyone is healthy. We wanted to organize this meeting today to basically touch base. There have been many virtual meetings of the modules in the meantime, which has been great. I think there's been a lot of productivity, so well done. We wanted to take stock today with everybody, see where we are, and talk about basically the next months and the rest of the year, because I think the last time we met all together like this, it was a couple months ago. And, you know, things were still early, I think, in the COVID pandemic. We didn't really have a clear sense of what our second semesters would look like this year. It could be that some universities still don't. That's very possible. And we know that this pandemic has different speeds and different rhythms in different parts of the world. So that's maybe an advantage and a disadvantage to being such a global project, is that when you're dealing with a pandemic like this, it might be that some of you are dealing with it now in a different way than others are, or that it might yet still evolve. So we would like to talk about planning for the rest of the year and to get people's input. Before we do that, I'm going to put up the agenda. We've foreseen a round of presentations. We had tasked you to prepare a presentation per module. I received, I think, 3 of them, so thank you for that. For those who didn't send it, that's okay. I can enable you to put the presentation up yourselves. Just let me know who will be presenting. So basically, we wanted to do a short presentation from each module, just to kind of sum up what has been done in the past couple months. What have you developed for the module content? Have you advanced to the stage of developing and collecting teaching materials and resources? Have you talked about pedagogy? Have you been planning online coaching or not? Because that was something we discussed in our last meeting, the possibility to already start the coaching process via some online sessions, not do the physical coaching. We would like that to be an option for later, but to already get the preparatory phase going for the implementation of the module through some online coaching. So any updates you have on that planning, if you've done it, if you've not, if you've talked about full online delivery of the module, or if you're still planning to develop it to be delivered in class, and or a blended approach. So if you've advanced in that at all, any challenges, any delays, and what you're planning in order to overcome them. So we've asked, just for time's sake, and also to make it a little bit easier, to have one presenter per module. But what we can do is we can have the presenter of the module make the presentation, and then if other participants in that particular module want to make any specific comments on their situation or what they're experiencing, we would welcome that. So why don't we go ahead and get that started, unless anybody has any objections. We'll go in order then. Is it okay if we take module 1 first? Is that okay? I saw Tomikin is connected. Shall we do module 1, or do we not have the necessary people here?
Elizabeth,
yeah.
Regarding the presentation of the modules, as far as I understood from your mail, the module coordinator should decide who will do the presentation, either himself or just ask one of the collaborators to do this. Because if I do, I can do it for my university, not for the whole module, because I don't know what the Chile or Uruguay is doing. So if the module coordinator is ready for module 1, we can listen, or we can do by universities. but if we do presentations by universities, it will take too much time, I think.
Yeah, that's correct. The idea was to have one centralized presentation, which could be either given by the module coordinator or by someone else in the group. That's fine. But really to have one presentation that summarizes everything you've done. And then if some individuals want to make comments, additional comments on that, they can do so. But yeah, the idea was to start with one presentation. I did receive a presentation from João Miquel for module 1. I don't know if
I'm here. Sorry, I was waiting. You stop the conversation.
Okay. João Miquel, do you want to put up the PowerPoint, or shall I put it up?
Yeah. Well, in fact, I think that Paolo and Salvador has been talking during this period with Georgia and Chile, and you can put the presentation.
Okay.
Basically, I think that the presentation is just they are talking and they are according the way of the coaching. But yeah, I don't know if Tamar, you want to explain, but on the slide,
you can present, and later I'll add what
no, but
we think about it.
You know much better than me. You know.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll put
sure.
the slide,
Yeah,
and then you can decide who will speak.
Yeah, but anyway, and from Chile, I think that I can see from Chile. There's nobody. I can't see, but I don't know what. If you want, I do the present, because I have one slide from Salvador and another from Paolo. So the Paolo slide, you can explain it, and I just explain the Salvador one. Okay.
Okay. Can everybody see that?
There is only one thing that is here is interesting. This one is. Yeah, this is the one from Paolo, I think. So yeah, if you want to explain, Tamar, I'll let you how
I can. I'll explain the technical issues and administrative issues, but the content, as I'm not the person who will lead the course, so I don't know the content, how many hours or what kind of items they put in the syllabus. But I can tell that we had meetings once or twice by Zoom. And we had very active discussion regarding what kind of subject or what kind of item should be in. So academics made decision what to put in. We prepared together with technical university and our university staff one syllabus, and that syllabus was sent to the leaders of the module for the feedback. So we are waiting the feedback at the end of this month, and after this feedback we are waiting for the coaching plan. We decided to have not online coaching, we want to have physical coaching. So we have two alternative time for coaching. First is October, if the pandemic situation give us possibility to meet in October. If not, then as we are going to implement this course for the spring semester, and we start spring semester in February, another optional time for physical coaching is January. So the leaders of the trainers agreed to these two optional dates, and we are waiting for them. First, the feedback of the syllabus, and then the draft agenda of the coaching. So, as the module, we are in this phase of module implementation. Resources is almost done, but there are some literature that should be added to the list of this literature reference. So online coaching, I'm just answering the questions. Online coaching has not conducted because we want physical coaching. Updates of the plan for coaching, we really would like to have updates, because if not October, then January 2021. And the main challenge is just the time to agree when the coaching will be, not more some other challenges we face. So the coaching will be 3-4 days. So this is the content which the academics are working on. So this is what's happened in the discussion of the module 1.
Okay, any other of the Georgian colleagues have anything, or any other colleagues have something to add? There's also a slide here with respect to South American partners, but maybe we stay on Georgia.
Maybe the third, I don't know if now we could talk about the third slide. The third slide, I think, is this is a contact that Salvador has with the next one. There is not any. Yeah, this one.
Okay.
We have Salvador has a contact in Tbilisi for another project with an American university that he works with the Caucasus University. I don't know if Tamar, you know this.
Yes, I know. I know also the person who is initiator of this wine tourism program, Irina Melu. I know her very well. Yes, I know.
So I don't know. It's for our consideration.
Caucasus International University. Sorry. It is Caucasus
sorry,
sorry,
Nino, I haven't seen you. So much better. We have two to have your opinion about to include this university in any way in the program. They are asking us. They are asking Salvador if they can get into the coaching in order to participate in the
Why not? Yes. If Elizabeth, you are not against, it will also disseminate the awareness about the project. So the coaching should take place in Tel Aviv, because in the first module will be coached here in Tel Aviv State University. So we can invite them and they can come and attend the meeting. This is coaching. I think it's from our side, it won't be the problem.
Yes.
That's excellent. Yeah, all the better. Like I said, I mean, if it's a physical training, obviously the travel costs, if there are travel costs,
sure,
the additional participants have to be paid for and incurred by that participant. But otherwise, all the more the merrier. If this is an institution you collaborate with and you think they could also benefit, I would say that's great.
Yeah. From Tbilisi to Tel Aviv, it's 1 hour and 10 minutes drive by car. So everybody from that university can just arrange the transportation so they can visit, and we will invite them on coffee breaks, and that's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that they just asked to be to know about this project and be connected. I assume that they don't want to be in the consortium. So Elizabeth, I'm thinking about that. The travel cost for sure. That it's not. We cannot cover it for sure. But it's maybe just with the participate in the coaching process if there is a presential. A local coaching, so they can participate, and I think that could be enough maybe for. Okay. But I don't know if, from the point of view of the Commission, would be interesting to have any kind of agreement or one paper supporting this this participation in order to show to the Commission even a best approach or a best interaction with our Georgian partners, I would say. So to consider that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be good, of course, to inform the Commission if we're expanding the event. But in theory, we don't need an approval to do that. I think it's more, for information. The idea is that now when we submit the interim report, which is going to be in September, we should have a much more detailed work plan. I would also like to include in that interim report the details of the coachings that have been planned virtually or otherwise. And so we can elaborate there the intention to include other institutions in the coaching if that's what's intended. I don't think it's something we need to ask permission to do. It's something that I would simply inform.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the permission needs some financial issues, I think. And
yeah, usually
as an information you can just give.
Correct. Okay, great.
Yeah, it will enhance also visibility of our project. More people
and sustainability as well.
Correct. Absolutely.
And sustainability as well, I think.
Absolutely. No, it's an excellent idea. And also, I mean, for other regions involved in the project, one could consider that as well. I remember having a conversation with the colleagues from Cusco in Stellenbosch, where they said they had planned to visit Jujuy for a coaching and then suggested the possibility of maybe stopping also at the University of Salta, which is also a university, an important university in that region with programs in viticulture and wine and whatnot. So I mean, yours would not be the first case. So I think that's very welcome. Thank you. Did you want to comment, João Miquel, about? I mean, I know these are Salvador's slides, your colleague Salvador.
Yeah, basically it's quite similar. Salvador will do a coaching face-to-face in January, if it's possible, and I know that they are talking about looking for examples for the wine tourism and
okay.
That's it. So
okay, that's great. Anything particular on the content of the module that was, controversial or difficult to agree, or was it fairly easy to decide on the content of the module?
Yeah, well, the most difficult in this, as far as I know, the most difficult in this module is that they need examples from the local partners. Mm-hmm. And so and correct me, Tamar, or Nina, if you speak something different with Paolo, but the idea is talk with the local partners in order to have examples to analyze for the module of wine tourism. So I know that Salvador were asking to our colleagues from Chile in order to have these examples, and they are now in this way, and this is as far as I.
Yes, just to add something. Hi everyone.
Oh yeah. You know better than me too.
Yeah, we were discussing with Salvador because the issue is to have this field experience and examples to use it during the coaching. So we proposed him 3 different valleys to visit. So we have to explain to him what is the reality of each one. And then we have discussed different proposals, and we have been sharing some emails about that.
Okay, great, good. It would be interesting to see if other modules have had that discussion too, around sort of localizing the examples that are given in the teaching and things like that. Great. Any other comments on module 1, or shall we move on to module 2? So if I can just summarize, it sounds like you would like to keep the door open to physical coaching, and that would be done second half of this year / January of 2021. When would you make a final call about that? I mean, would you sort of keep delaying until the physical coaching is possible, or would you at some point foresee a virtual coaching if it seems like second semester that's not realistic?
Elizabeth, as far as I know from Liga, we had a monitoring visit, and later I will keep some minutes about talking with this monitoring. She says that EU Commission is open to give 1 more year to the projects which ask for the postponing the finishing of the project. Like our project, we are going to ask for prolongation of the project for a year. So as we are going to offer this course from the spring semester, and we hope that the situation will be good for that time. And in very good, it is the good situation. So October is the best situation, best case. January is a good case, and if the situation didn't give us some chance to implement physical coaching in January, then we can keep 1 more semester and offer that course spring in winter semester. So we will have. So we want physical coaching. So we will just use that time for it.
Okay, so you prefer to have the physical coaching. I think that's very good. I think we'll come to this later, but one thing I would like to discuss with everybody is if we are pushing largely to have physical meetings, and don't forget we still have the 2 other capacity building workshops to organize, and we want to spend that travel money. That's very important for our project budget expenditure. So indeed, if we can extend the project and have physical activities primarily next year, great. But we do need to discuss then what we do between now and the end of this year. And that might vary depending on the module, but we would like to hear what we could do virtually or otherwise in the meantime. So let's go to module 2. I know that Pierre-Louis from Bordeaux could not join us. He sent a summary, but I think the idea was that I'll put up that summary of the module, and then if anybody in module 2 would like to comment on the planning, that would be great. I know that there have been at least 2 virtual meetings that have been held, and that Bordeaux has involved at least 2 other colleagues that you see here listed, Professor Luca and Professor Hidose, who will be involved in different parts of the module from what I've understood. And I know that the colleagues participating in this module have sent equivalent syllabi of related courses, so that there's been an exercise of comparing the content. So we have GTU, we have sorry, the Goshka Basvili threw me off. We have Chilecito, and we have Udlar. And from what I've understood, this module is divided into 3 parts. Is that correct? One of them is optional. There you have. And there you have the division: microbiology, wine aging, and wine safety. And from there, I know I've understood, I've only followed this peripherally, but I've understood you've done a bit of a mapping of which institutions have these different topics, to what extent, and which of these parts of the module you would see more important to your institution. Maybe I would let the colleagues from Georgia, and then also from Chilecito and from Udlar comment on this, how you see module 2, where you are with the development, and where you would like to go with the coaching and the implementation.
Sorry, I'll give some technical information about it, and then the colleagues from academic direction will go on. It was the most difficult module, because the first one here was some much more discussions than in module 1, because the information and material that was provided by the module leader was too much, and so we could not receive that and implement copy-paste to our program, because our program really needs reaccreditations, and the experts will reject this, because there was some material that we have in other courses. For example, safety, we have other course which is being implemented in our existing program. So that's why we decided, we agreed, thanks to the leaders, that they gave us chance to make some we adjusted it to our needs. So we liked all the material that was offered and decided to divide into several parts. Some, as you said, Elizabeth, is mandatory and some is optional. So the academics will add some information about the content. Tamuna, can you?
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Tamar Sacanelli, and I'm microbiologist from the Georgian Technical University. I'll tell you briefly about our 2 Zoom meetings where we discussed about issues in the model, and we agreed on the following. Based on our credit system, we decided to split model in parts, but I think we will divide it in 2 parts. We will take microbiological parts, and different parts we will use in different modules in our university. The development of the syllabus is over. I think we need only the laboratory part in laboratory part add some issues to fill up in 20 hours, because our credit system is different and we need 30-hour laboratory work, but we have only chance to add only 20 hours because our credit system is different. We add only 20-hour laboratory work. What else? Maybe I told you everything. Media, if you want to add something, you can. I think I told about everything.
Yeah, I think you told everything. We take 2 parts in this syllabus because we have same program in other subjects. We have wine microbiological and wine safety, and we hope we can do this 2 parts.
Okay, thank you. So interesting challenges. I mean, basically, module 2 was proposed as.
And here, Elizabeth, also physical coaching is needed.
So here, because of the laboratory work, there definitely needs to be some physical implementation of this module.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay, good. It would be interesting to see what the other, God, it just keeps going. I keep scrolling down for this module. There's a lot of content here. It would be interesting to see what the other partners, Chilecito and also UDLAR, are thinking, because as you say, there is a lot of content, and the question is if you take it all or if you don't. I know other modules have had this discussion too, so like we'll hear from module 3 afterwards, and they also have gone through a process where they've looked at all the topics they think are important, and then they've tried to prioritize which of those topics are most important for all partners, and how much time or how much weight to put in each one of those subtopics. So it sounds like you've gone through a similar exercise. Okay.
Good morning to everybody. Hello, Elizabeth.
Hello.
I'm sorry, I arrived late. I'm sorry. I'm trying to say to you from our point of view in Uruguay. This syllabus was built with the opinion of us. In fact, Professor Tisedre offered us an option, and we built on it in the last two meetings, adding information to the models, to the syllabus, and also in our situation, particular situation. For example, in the case of Uruguay, we probably will take not the entire module, of course, because our students have many information in the background, graduated background, and we came from different, how can I say, different areas of knowledge, science, biology, chemistry, not agronomy, because Diego can inform us that it's in the model 3. But we probably will take 40 hours of module built with information taken from different parts of chapter here. Okay? Do you understand that? It's very different, probably, what is happening in other modules, because we are selecting information in each one of the chapter to build another chapter. And that was accepted by the group, because it was the same situation in other cases. So what I'm trying to say, all of you, it's that this module is discussing putting inside all the information needed for the different situations presented in different academics approaches in different universities participating. And then you can select all the package is policy, even adding labs, of course, that is not detailed up to now there, but it's implicit. I mean, in case of sensory analysis, it's basically implicit that you are working on lab. But you have the opportunity also to take information and prepare a new chapter just tailored for you, maybe tailored for you, okay? This is more or less how we are participating in the case of Uruguay in this module. And of course, in July 7, we are going to present probably for the discussion for each one of the participants, which will be the more or less end proposal for each one. I mean, this means that we are trying to put all together, how can I say, a proposal of how the model will work with the participating in each part for the different groups in each country.
Okay.
I don't know for the other participants if I'm translating more or less what I was discussing in our particular case. It could be probably in the case of another, I don't know, Chilecito, but probably for others. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Eduardo. Yeah, that's really helpful. So basically, it's a little bit of a shopping bag. So you've got the general framework with all the elements of the module, and then each of the 4 institutions that will be piloting this module will be composing their own module, so to speak, from that content. It doesn't sound totally different from what module 3 is doing, and it's very interesting that you've come now through the process. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, because I could say that we built, or we are building, we built a cloud, big cloud, okay? And inside that, we are selecting those topics, building chapters for each one of the participants. Entire package, I mean, an entire cloud, ordinated in a sense that we have to put it inside, but with a sense for each one of us in each one of our interests to give to the students and our capacities and so on. It's interesting. To me, it was really interesting.
Interesting exercise. Great. Does Chilecito, do you have any comments on Module 2 and how you're approaching it?
No, it's just like Eduardo is saying, we are managing like the same strategy, and we are quite working together with UDELAR, and we are trying to set the same horizons. What will happen in the model is that George and partners bring another offer, and it has been put as an optional module, and we are now in the part of choosing which hours and which part of the model we are going to develop. And I think that you're right, this is quite like module 3, in which we participate also, and it's like developing your own module to implement in your institution and trying to have some common subjects to develop with the whole consortium, and then take some cases, some particular cases from each university to develop the module that they're trying to develop. I'm not sure if I've been clear.
For me, yes. I don't know if anybody has questions, but it sounds like it's a very constructive process that gives you a lot of choice. So it's a lot of work as well, but it also allows you to really cater the module to your own, or tailor the module to your own interests and needs.
Yeah, our coordinator got a headache with us because yeah, because it's working like this in an open system. It means you have to be very flexible, and this is, I think that this is the strong of this module. It's very flexible, because the different universities of different academic offers are really different. I mean, I don't know, unfortunately, because this particular situation of we are living, I don't know the situation in each one country except Argentina, probably, and Chile, and well, Spain, and France, and Italy. But in any case, this module focused on microbiology represent, I mean, the knowledge is imparted in each academic area unit in different ways. So, I mean, in the graduated courses. So, meaning that when you arrive to the master degree, the information you have to give to the students is really different because of the basis, the background. And that's the reason, because it's transforming in some flexible situation, which I really appreciate, because it's the way I used to work, and I appreciate that. But it's a headache for teachers, obviously. Not my problem.
Okay, great. Thank you for sharing that. Shall we go on to module 3 then? I've enabled, Georgie, I've enabled you to share the presentation if you would like to.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't know if you have already hit. Can you see it, Elizabeth?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, thank you. This presentation has been done by me and by Philip, that unhappily cannot be with us, but he sent already a mail to everybody, because we will have a meeting at 25 of June, okay, at 3 and a half p.m. Paris time, okay? But I sent just now the convocatory for this meeting. Okay, let's see what is happening with Module 3. Well, as you all know, Module 3 is about sustainability in viticulture, and we will have 120 hours divided with this who are the coordinators and the members, but this is, you already know, is only to give you some, to refresh your memory. And as Nati presented in Santiago de Chile, the main goals of the module are also presented, but only, as I told you, to refresh your memory. And we divided Module 3, Sustainability in Viticulture, in 3 parts: climate change, precision viticulture, and irrigation. And for each, we proposed 40 hours, including presential classes and the work done by the students at home. More recently, the list of colleagues that are involved recently in this module are those. I think everybody is here. We joined in the University of Porto, our colleague Mario Cunha, that is a specialist about precision viticulture, and José Silvestre, that is a of the module 3. I hope you could hearing me because my internet is not very stable. But the principle of the work was this: the model content is co-constructed between partners and coordinators. And this process was initiated in the meeting of Mendoza and is going through what we call 5 successive phases. The phase 1, in phase 1, each partner defines the general content of the model and indicate time, pedagogic methods, and prerequisites. And to that, was constructed an Excel file that each partner could use. The phase 2 is the phase where the coordinator determines the common and specific team that partners intend to develop. And it is also done in an Excel file. Phase 3, each partner details the precise content of module chapters as determined in phase 2. And to that is a Word file. The phase 4 and phase 5 that will follow, because we are now between phase 2 and phase 3. In phase 4, the working groups will prepare the teaching material of the module, and with the common parts that each partner wants to use, the specific parts, the pedagogic methods, etc. And the phase 5 will be the implementation of the partner courses based on the module teaching material. Phase 1 was discussed and determined in the meeting in Mendoza, and there we decided that the 3 parts will be organized, 1 by Bordeaux, 2 and 3 by Porto. And at that time, the general content, the main chapters had been defined. Phase 2, it was the identification of what will be common between partners or specific to each partner, because it is not necessary that, I don't know why, but I think I lost the sharing of the presentation. Okay, let me see. Okay, again. Okay, it's okay. It's again back again. So phase I was saying that in phase 2 is identified what is common between partners or what is specific to each partner. And at that time, each partner provides information about the teaching strategy, time, pedagogic methods, everything. And the coordination uses this information to identify what is really common and specific resources for the module and identify eventually missing information. And we can give you some examples of module 3.1, chapter 1, that is here presented. In this phase, also phase 3, there is a precise definition of chapter content based on the phase 2, of course, and the coordinator proposes a list of themes, And for instance, for chapter 1 of the module 3.1, that was grapevine and phenological phases, there are different situations. All the partners wanted to have 4 hours in common, but for instance, Cuyo or Uruguay want more time, and we don't have yet information about Chilecito. This is a way of organizing the module in order to give answers to the partners that are different from that are part common, part different. Okay? It is proposed a non-exhaustive list of teams, and partners can have teams if they think they are necessary. A list of proposed teams are very vast, but people can complete it if thinks that is not more things necessary, or can reduce it if think that.
Oh, Georgia, I think we don't hear you.
We lost him.
Yeah, looks like we lost you, Georgie. Maybe he has to disconnect and reconnect. Let's see.
I think
I
think you lost me.
Yeah, we lost you briefly there.
Again, in the beginning.
Last 2 minutes.
I don't know when you lost me.
Since the beginning. No, it's a joke. It's a joke.
Don't put me more nervous.
Not just the last 2 minutes. Last 2 minutes
okay.
We lost you, but yeah.
I think we were somewhere by here in the table that each partner need to complete. Okay, so for each time, for each sub team, each university, each partner needs to complete this table with pedagogic method, the time, the details, and everything. Okay. Well, where we are now? We are now in module, in the first part of the module, we are in phase 3, and in this phase, each partner is preparing a precise description of the module chapters, and we are setting up the working groups. In modules, in the second and third part of the module, we are a little more not so advanced, and we are still with the definition of common and specific parts of partner programs. Only to give you some idea how we are working with the information, for instance, CPUT send us and other colleagues.
Oh, Georgie, we just lost you again. Hello, hello.
Each team and the time that the relative percentage of the time that they want to spend with this part. And for instance, to give you an idea, CPUT doesn't want any information about software. And that is an example how things can be organized. Okay? And that's it. We are here, and we will have a meeting, as I told you, at June 25th at 3:30 Paris time. Okay.
Great, thank you, Georgie. So you see a bit the process Module 3 has gone through. They've been actually quite structured. Would any of the partners in that module like to comment on your particular experience or your particular needs or challenges or whatever you like?
Hello, Elizabeth. How are you?
Fine. How are you, Nettie?
Fine, fine. Well, yes, we have had, I don't know, 3 or 4 virtual meetings. Jorge and Philippe have been of great help in developing each part of the module. And I think that for one part, it is really positive that we have like a main core for the module where we have like our guide with the main topics we want to develop, but each partner can choose or can give more strength and hours to, I don't know, different topics of interest. And now we are in that process. Maybe this part is the most difficult one because each of us has to be very assertive in deciding which different subjects we want to develop in depth, and how many hours we want to give to those subjects, and which learning approaches we want to take. And well, in our case, we are still confined because the pandemic now is in its worst moment, and we are finishing the semester. So we have a lot of work here in at least in Argentina with the university and homeschooling. So for us in this last part, it has been difficult to fill all those files that Jorge and Philippe has sent. But I think we finish the semester next week, so I think that we can have the information by the following week. So I think that everything has been really productive and fine.
Okay, great, thank you. Yeah, indeed, it's interesting to see how this pandemic has taken different speeds in different places.
Yes.
Anyone else would like to comment on Module 3? We have some colleagues or some teaching staff or professors who've joined midway in the process. I think Silvana is on the call with us today from Chilecito, for example, and that's great. I think one thing that these past months have allowed us to do have been to bring in more people into the VITA family, particularly as you've discussed, who will be teaching and who will be implementing and who needs to be involved in the development of the module. But of course that required bringing people up to speed. And that's why we've been insisting that you update the Dropbox with the latest planning documents, the latest module structure documents, the latest content, just so that those who have joined the process later can easily navigate what's been done, because it can be difficult. As you see with Module 3, this has been a lengthy construction process. There's been a lot of documents circulated, so it is important to keep the Dropbox updated for that reason. Okay, great. Shall we go on to Module 4?
Hi,
Hi. I have a presentation for Module 6, not for Module 4.
I can share a presentation if that's okay.
Sure.
I will be presenting Module 4. This is Germán Moyano, everyone. Hi. It's great to hear you and hear you well.
Germán, I've made you a co-host so you can share a presentation.
Thank you. Okay, so hi everyone, it's good to hear you. I will be presenting Module 4, the state of the art, a little bit. Unfortunately, Dr. Gennady, who is the coordinator of this module, couldn't be here today, and he kindly asked me to do it for him. We, of course, have been working along with Jimena and Alejandro and the other universities that are more active in this module to see and discuss how can we take advantage of this time in the more productive way. So basically what we have decided is to start a series of webinars focusing on the dialogues between the academy and the industry. We thought that this would be very interesting to ensure that, I mean, we know that this project has a dimension where we need to achieve some local development, and we thought that we could contribute not only to in the framework of this module, but to the other universities and the other modules to understand more accurately what is the industry waiting from us, and how can we use VITA Global to, you know, enhance our contribution to the local industry. And we are very happy to invite everyone to the first webinar that will be conducted next Thursday. And we have the participation of Dr. Gennady, of course, the coordinator, and some professionals of the local industry with great experience in the field of local economic sustainability in the wine industry. We hope to have a document with the learnings of that webinar. We will be recording and trying to elaborate the learnings. Hopefully this will be useful for the rest of the participants. Chilecito, of course, this was agreed with other universities, Chilecito, Chile, Jujuy. We had several meetings with them, and they will be probably taking care of the next webinars in the framework of this cycle of the dialogues with the industry. Then there we had some very good experience, very good discussions. Hopefully this will be implemented in August, the following webinars. Okay, this will be for, okay, yeah, the local dynamics and peculiarities. We thought also that it was interesting to understand how the local industry works to ensure that the modules, we can adjust the content of the modules to give them what they need in a way. Let me just, how to, yeah. So this is the first, as I mentioned, the first webinar that will be conducted next Thursday. Of course, you are all invited to hear us and to participate. It will be conducted in Spanish. We thought that it was important to integrate everyone here, and we have now more than 80 participants confirmed. And it's interesting to see that half of them are from the local industries, not only from Cuyo, but also from Jujuy, Salta, and Chilecito, and probably hopefully we will have some wine actors from other regions as well. So which resources have been developed on teaching materials? Well, we have these side projects in a way in the framework of VITA Global on the didactic materials, quiz and games. We are now working on the design of those games. This could be used as a tool for the teaching and the process of teaching and learning of this module, and we now are figuring how to fund the development of these games and quiz. So that's what we're doing now, and we hopefully tomorrow we will discuss if there's some money from the project that could be used to develop these materials. Updates in plans for the piloting and coaching. Well, as you all know, the quarantine in Argentina has been very tough with us. We were hoping to have some freedom to move, at least in the national within the national borders before November or December. Of course, this is there's a lot of uncertainty, but that's our main goal. We have identified the Professor Jean-Marie Cardebat from the University of Bordeaux that's supposed to visit Argentina and joining us in the implementation of the modules that are supposed to happen in Cuyo and Jujuy, and hopefully in Chile as well. But that's something that we are reassessing now due to the well, we are now in the probably the worst part of the pandemic here in Argentina, so we're reassessing that possibility. The possibility of conducting the modules on a virtual platform. Well, we've been discussing this with Jujuy and Chilecito and Chile mainly, and we cannot ensure the participation that we can reach everyone and we can commit them to the virtual platforms for the implementation of these modules. This is a concern that is related to the peculiarities of the situation in Argentina and Chile, where not everyone has the same access to internet, computers. So we thought that we could use this time in a more productive way, starting this dialogue with the industry than trying to implement the modules that will in any way have some limited region, limited impact. So that's what we thought after the meetings with our other colleagues from this module. This is what I just mentioned, that our main challenges is how to reach our audiences and how to reach a compromise from them. So hopefully we are now thinking about November or December, but we are open to continue these discussions with all the partner universities. And the last comment about the white paper, I don't know if this is the right moment to do it, but we decided to invite our Faculty of Education to contribute in the production of these inputs for the general document. We thought that as they are the main specialists in education, they could provide some valuable contribution in the sense of from a pedagogical perspective. And we are also working on an input focused on the recognition of the modules. I believe that's the most valuable. The importance of these documents should be measured in a way that we can explain how the modularization can contribute to the recognition and therefore for internationalization. Unfortunately, this is not ready yet, but we are doing some progress in that sense, and that's pretty much our presentation for today. Thank you.
Great, thanks so much, Armand. It's really nice to see Cuyo's taking quite a lot of initiative. I mean, the webinar, for example, was totally their initiative, and I think when we come to the end of the module presentations, it would be good to discuss options for online initiatives that you could take between now and the end of the year while we're waiting for physical activities to resume, and in addition to the work you're doing in preparing the modules. I think this was a very good one that Herman gave. And we'll also come back to the topic of the white paper. Thank you for that contribution. Anyone else in module 4 who would like to comment on the module in terms of your plans for implementation and how you see that with regards to your own institution? No? Okay, great. Herman, if you could send me the slides, that would be great, because I would like to reference those.
Absolutely, I'll do that right away.
Okay. Why don't we go on to module 5, sensory analysis. I can open the presentation from Andrea if you would like. Oh no, wait, that is not 5. Oh yeah, that is 5. Wait, that is module 6, hold on. Module 5, okay. Just share the screen. Okay, Andrea, would that be, you would be presenting that, yes?
I don't know if Felipe, you want to jump on or whenever you want. Felipe, do you hear me?
I do.
Okay.
Go. I think
Okay.
you go ahead and I'll jump in whenever
Okay, good.
there's something to add.
Good, thanks. Do you, Elizabeth, go on with the slide, or can I move the? No, you should go with the
Yeah,
slide.
I can do it. Just let me know when you want me to.
Just go. This is just the, yeah. Module 5 is the sensory, and this is the list of the question that you asked to answer through the email. So I just refresh it. Please go. Just to keep in mind the track, and as an introduction, we like with the partner, the co-coordinator is Talca, and most part of the work was done bilaterally, but obviously there are other partners involved. And then we see the list, but we already know which the network didn't change. And as an introduction, I'd like to say that this module is quite more simple to handle than compared to the other I saw previously, for many reasons. For example, the size of the module is quite small. Is it many credits? Is it 4 to 6? Let me check, double check. It's 4 credits, and I saw that other modules are up to more than 9 or 12 credits, so they are bigger. So the size is small. The team, coordinator and co-coordinator, we know each other personally and scientifically since more than 15 years ago. So we have a personal and scientific relation, a common background, and so it's quite easy to understand each other, including not only Philippe Laurie, who is one of the staff who will teach in the module, but also Annibal Concha, which is the young professor, who also has a similar background with US academy background. So it's quite easy to understand each other, and this make more effective the forward of the ongoing of the preparation. So this is just a refresh of the module, the concept of the module, which since the beginning of the project, it takes a little bit time to harmonize and understand each other. So it's always better to refresh and then and take track. This is some definition. So just I don't go into this, but just to keep there, if needed, we know where to find it. And yes, please go. So, and this is a checklist of the document. Most of the document that you see done were already done in previous step, were already shared with the other partners. They are on the not Google Drive, what is the name of, not Google, the
Dropbox.
Dropbox. They are on Dropbox, so every partner can download it, can modify, can improve, can make suggestion anytime. So, and so the syllabus was done, the structure was done, everything was done. And what is in progress now is the last part, is the teaching material and exercise for the laboratory part. So we are working on this part. So yes, please. So the work in progress include again what the teaching materials, which means sharing between us article, review, books, PowerPoint, previous lesson on the topic by University of Bologna, which some of them are in Italian, others are in English, and we share with Talca, and because they first of all they select the material, they reorganize, they harmonize and translate in Spanish, because the class will be held in Spanish. When the teaching material is ready in Spanish, then we share with the other partner, because in the second step, other partner in Argentina will probably develop a class as well, but as a second step, not at the start, as a starting point. What else? We take into account we also share some video, teaching video, web page, whatever. So all the material in any kind we had, we share each other. We also took in consideration the style of the format, what in terms of contrast, the size of the letter, the type of character, because sometimes you have in classroom some disability student, or not disabled or partial disabled, which should be taken into account to improve the efficiency of communication. So those are also part of the technical matter. What else? No, that's all. So this is the working process we are doing now. Online coaching be conducted. Again, we had several Zoom, so I think it was Zoom meeting, but also we had Team or Skype or whatever we need between Unibo and Talca to decide the email, to have a virtual feedback and update on the status of the project. Whenever we need to do, again, a webinar or whatever, we do it. But at the time in Talca and in Bologna, this is until the end of May was, at least in Bologna, was teaching time. And so we agreed to boost on this activity starting from June and July. So we expect by end of July, beginning of August, that the teaching material will be ready. The class has been approved officially, finally approved by the University of Talca. The approval was in progress during the last meeting we had, but now is officially approved. So it's done. So we just need the COVID to disappear or whatever, and to go in class and do the teaching. So we are very ready to do this. The only thing is that since it's a sensory analysis, part of the teaching can eventually be done online, eventually, which we hope not. But obviously, all the laboratory and all the testing, because it's wine and food, it's sensory of wine and food and development of food. And so all the sensory, we cannot go online with this with the practical activity. So we really need to do it in class. Yes, go on. What else? Number 4, piloting and coaching. If needed, we can do online because, as I said, we know each other since a long time. We have a common background, and the communication is really easy and fluent. But if possible, we would like to have a real, personal coaching to do during the next meeting, whatever plan it is. I lost the schedule. I mean, I was supposed to be in Georgia around this time. I don't know if it was postponed before the next one, which was in Uruguay or not. So I don't have the final schedule, but it's not an issue. I mean, whatever is the destination, if we can move and see each other, we take advantage and we do the piloting. If not, we make a plan B with Zoom, Skype, or whatever. Don't worry, but the class is ready and the course is ready, and I think that more than that, we cannot do this. Please. Well, mock, that's already mentioned that. I mean, the practical sensory is something you can talk, but then if you don't practice, is useless. So it would be better to do on real. Yes? The challenge is the COVID, and let's see how it works. I mean, it does not depend on us, but beside the COVID or other, you know, some global emergency, we are ready. Yeah, that's it. Whatever. Yeah, these are the team, and Felipe and Anibal, and I know there is another. Sorry, I didn't mention, but I think there is another staff, a lady in Talca involved for the psychology. I think part of the I don't know. Maybe Felipe can give a few words on this, and the implementing partner, in particular UNDEC, but also other partner, Cujo and Jujuyo are part of the team. They have access to all the material, and always welcome to share, comment, improve, or whatever. Yeah, that's it.
That's something we are just discussing. That's because we didn't add a name yet to a potential person with a psychology background participating. Depending on the level of the course, we thought that might be important. If we keep it basic at the beginning, we might not include that person. That's why we didn't offer a name yet for that part.
I agree.
Okay, that's very interesting. Just a question in terms of the discussions with Chilecito and Jujuy. Have you advanced in terms of looking at how they would be implementing the module, or is that, you know, going to be then the next step?
The only that I know that is ready or wish to implement is UNDEC, and is going to do at master level, where now in Talca is a bachelor level. So I consider this a second step. Once we complete the entire package for the bachelor level, with all the material and all the, not only the teaching material, but also the syllabus and whatever in Spanish, which is, this represent a base to make a step forward at master level. And we didn't get into this right now, because obviously we do one step at a time, and once the first step is done, if they're ready and confirm their wish to do a step forward, we are ready to do.
Okay, great. So basically you're ready to go, and it's just a question of time now.
Yeah.
Any questions on sensory analysis? Okay, great. We'll go, thanks, good work. We'll go on to our last module, to sparkling. And João Miquel, I have also your presentation here on sparkling. I will put that up now.
It will be very short.
Okay.
Because basically I haven't done a lot. No, I've been working for inside, but not outside. So
well, I've been pressing issues to deal with. That's for sure.
Yeah. So my problem is that I cannot do the. I haven't been talking with Chilecito, Cuyo, or Stellenbosch, but for me it will be very difficult to have a potential coaching in January, for example. So what I prefer is to do so for me, July, I'm free. I'm so free. So my idea is to do the coaching in July, and to do two coachings, one for 60 hours module and another for 10 hours module. And I just sent today an email to start to discuss about a schedule to do the coaching. And yeah, my initial idea is 1 week for the 60 hours module, and 3 days for the 10 hours module in July if it's possible. If not, I can also have in August. I can do it. And now I just sent an email, and we can also organize 1 day per week. Is what I ask them. Frankly, now I'm working in the practical work material, so I'm preparing the practical work materials. I have it in Spanish or in Catalan, moreover, and I'm translating it to English now. And yeah, I'm fine. And yeah, I have all the materials prepared. And what I want to do with the coaching is look at which material seems more interesting or less interesting in order to adapt to the interest of each partner. And especially in the 10 hours module, that it will be a very synthesized module. And I'm in that, so I'm expecting to have the coaching this summer, and for sure when it will be implemented, also my idea would be to travel if the pandemic is over. So travel to the places, especially to Chilecito, which is where it must be. How is that? So it must be evaluated in order to assure that it more works well. Stay there for a week in order to see on place, for example, something about visits or one visit. I think is one visit, not on the material that they have, in order to be sure that it will work. So in fact, that is the point in this model.
Okay,
but
good.
yeah, sure that I have been very busy with.
No, understandable.
Yeah.
So you have, really it's quite a difference between a 60-hour module and a 10-hour module. Is that,
yeah, sure.
So have you mapped who is going to be implementing which one? Like, will
Stellenbosch
with 10 and...
Stellenbosch, initially, well, it was Stellenbosch 10 hours module we're asking for that, and on the contrary, Cuyo, but especially Chilecito is where will be. I don't have the board now in the mind. It will be piloted. Yeah, sure. It will be piloted in Chilecito, but I think that someone from Cuyo want to also to attend or to this. So I sent an email this morning, and I hope people answer. And yeah, I will start the process, because on July I would like to let know to everybody how to develop this module, and if there is some doubts and some adding in this process, so we will discuss with the interested people. So yeah.
Okay, that's great. Would anybody else like to comment on sparkling from Stellenbosch or from Chilecito or Cuyo?
Thank you, Jean-Michel. I did receive the email this morning. I just need to consult with my colleagues and check their schedules, so I will get back to you hopefully during the course of this week and give clarity on that. Thank you.
Okay.
Great. Thanks, Erna.
Thanks.
Okay, so that brings us to the end of the module discussion. I mean, I think a few observations from my side, but you're welcome to comment further if you have comments. I mean, definitely there has been some autonomous work. I think the the pandemic was in some ways an opportunity for us to push forward our collaborative work virtually, something that we weren't doing so actively prior to the pandemic. So in a way, you could see this as positive. I mean, at least the virtual meetings can be inclusive, whereas the physical meetings sometimes we're limited in how many people can attend and things like this. That being said, I think that at least my own personal reflection is that the physical meetings have also a tremendous added value in the team building aspect. And I think back on the meeting we had in Stellenbosch, where we also had some considerable team building work and reflection on pedagogy and teaching in different cultures and contexts. So I think it is very important, when we can reintegrate the physical meetings to do so. To clarify the calendar, we had originally planned to be meeting in the first week of June in Montevideo, which we obviously had postponed, and we had planned to meet in October in Georgia. As much as I would like to keep that meeting alive, I'm a little bit reticent, particularly because we see, as we've heard from South America in particular, but also now in South Africa, we see different speeds to this pandemic, and we will also probably see different speeds with which international travel opens. And then on top of it, we're not sure how comfortable you will all be with international travel. So I think the biggest question is whether we keep the possibility of a second semester physical meeting open, or we say now, too difficult, leave it for 2021, and let's plan our second semester around certain virtual activities. We intend to do all of the physical activities. We intend to ask for an extension of the project and to schedule these activities, but I think it's just more a question now of timing. We would like to use that travel budget as well. So I guess my first question to you on calendar would be, would you agree to the approach of keeping, at least on paper, the rest of this year virtual, or would you still like to maintain the possibility of having a physical meeting as a consortium, potentially in Georgia later this year? If we do keep that option open, we would have to say by when we would take a final decision on that meeting. So we could say that by September we would decide that. So basically my question to you is 2020 all virtual, and then we plan everything physical for beyond, or we leave the option open of having a physical meeting in the end of 2020. What do you think?
From our perspective, we are opening our borders from 1st of July for the international flights, but not with every country. There are special countries which we open our borders. I don't know what the pandemic situation will be for October, so it's
okay. Yeah, I mean, I know, for example, and we have comments coming in from Argentina. I mean, Argentina they had announced they would only start flights, I think, in September, South Africa in October. That could also change. So I think with that in mind, it cuts it a little close to say we would do an event in October. My suggestion would be that we develop a work plan for 2020 that is virtual. We would include in that work plan the online trainings and coachings that you have foreseen in your modules. We would include in that work plan any other activities that you would like to take part in virtually, like the one that Herman suggested that Pujo is organizing, which is a webinar. And from there, we mentioned to you when we circulated the agenda for this meeting that we would like to do just a very short survey. I don't want to over-survey you, but I think it's important. After this meeting, we would circulate this survey where we would basically ask you a few questions about, what you see your university feasibly engaging in for this project between now and the end of the year. And it's where we would like you to share your ideas. It's a short survey. I can even now share it with you. And the idea is that we can really collect that information comprehensively so that we can then put forward to the European Commission a concrete work plan for 2020 and an extension of our activities for an additional year, which would allow us to then implement the physical activities. So if you agree with that, we will do it that way. Does anybody else have any opinions in that respect?
I agree with you. So I think that but it's very difficult to plan a visit, to plan a physical meeting for 2020. So maybe we can expect, to October or to end of September and look if there is another outbreak, and if there is not. So, but anyway, I have read something about from Samantha and Karen, and Erna saying that for a lot of countries they cannot travel. So I think for we need to.
So it doesn't leave us. I mean, we won't really know. I think we, again, in terms of the international travel picture, we'll probably again have a better sense in August, September. We will obviously plan another consortium meeting like this. But in the meantime, I've put up here the questions we wanted to ask you in this survey. We wanted to know if your institution has made plans for second semester yet in terms of teaching, how that will be done, if that will affect your module implementation, if you plan to do any coaching in the autumn. We might adjust the questions a little bit or eliminate a few based on what was already shared today, since you already shared with us a lot of information on the coaching process. And then this question 10, in addition to the coaching of the modules, what types of online activities could be offered in the second half of this year, which could support the project? And here we just did a list of possible ideas, but we would like you to share your ideas there if you have something else in mind, if you think we could do that could be part of the framework of this project that we could do easily and virtually, and which would be interesting. Because again, we want to keep the momentum. Would you be willing to take the lead in any of these activities? Do you anticipate that you will have any resource constraints as a result of COVID or anything else? Do you think you'll be able to travel as of September? So questions like this, basically. And I think the idea was just to take stock, across all the institutions, so we have a really clear sense. And then on that basis, we can more easily develop a realistic work plan proposal, and for the end of 2020, I'm thinking about. So if you agree, we'll put that online. We'll circulate that survey to you. Again, don't spend more than 10 minutes on it. Keep it short. But we just wanted to have a centralized source of information for that, if you agree. Any more comments on that? Okay, great. I wanted to make a few comments on the white paper that Herman brought up. Thank you to him. We have, for those of you who are involved in the white paper, I think the developments with COVID and the way in which it's making us think about teaching and learning, and the significance of what we're doing in the VITA Global project is, I think, important, and it's made us think in Obrial, at least, that we need to put some emphasis on this white paper. This could be a really nice publication, not just reflecting what we've done in this project, but reflecting more generally on how to internationalize learning through the modular approach. We were thinking that it would make sense to continue with the white paper, so to continue collecting the contributions from each region that we've foreseen. So if you remember, in the first part of the white paper, we were trying to collect examples from South Africa, from Argentina, from Georgia, from Europe, on what modularization means, how is that currently interpreted or applied in your current systems, and what the challenges are around it. We got 1 or 2 contributions, but I would like to encourage the other authors, and I'll be contacting you individually, to continue with your contributions. That includes Cujo, so thank you for working on that with your Department of Education. I think that's excellent. The second half of the paper is to really reflect on our experience as a project. And I think that's something we can't do until we're further along. And what is more, I think there's now an accelerated interest in this topic, given the COVID situation. And we could really write something substantial, I think, and publish something very interesting, maybe even bring in some external voices into that paper from the sector. So just to say that this paper will be a work in progress, but I think we have an opportunity with this paper. We already had an opportunity before, and I think now with the COVID situation, it puts even more importance on a project like this in terms of making a considerable statement about what we're doing in terms of internationalizing learning and flexibilizing learning and things like this. So again, no concrete timelines. I would like to continue to receive your case studies, and we'll use that as the baseline, and then we'll work towards the second half of the document early next year, most likely. And then, I mean, I see Rafa is with us from ANECA, which is great, because we'll have to see, again, with ANECA, how we reflect some of these elements of what this means for recognition and what this means for accreditation and all these other important topics, which do need to be dealt with in the paper.
Okay, take note.
Any comments there? Anybody? Okay, good. You all agree. Fantastic. So that's the white paper. I wanted to now just do a quick sort of preview on what is coming from our side in the next couple months. It's not very exciting. It's primarily the interim report and the financial reporting. You have an opportunity tomorrow to participate in one of 2 workshops on financial reporting, which Agustina is going to be providing. So you've seen there's 2 different time slots. I don't know, Augusto, do you want to make a comment on that, if you're with us? Agustina, are you here? I think she was, maybe she stepped away. Okay. But if you have, she sent an email today, again, with the information, the links to the 2 meetings. You don't have to, I mean, again, it's only 1 individual per institution that should attend this, and it would be the person who's involved really in the financial reporting and the documentation. Come with all of your questions, please, because now we really need to move forward with this report. And thank you to everyone who sent their contributions for the interim report. If you haven't yet, I think there's maybe 2 or 3 of you who haven't. You're in big trouble. No, you're not in big trouble, but we do need those contributions, so I'll probably be contacting you individually. And then my last thing I wanted to share with you was on the VITA website. Just to remind you, we have this lovely website, which we're trying to update and reference as much as possible and promote. And under this website, we have a section on activities where we have the modules. Oh, I don't know if that's working. Maybe it doesn't when I'm screen sharing. Ah, it does, good. So here, the idea was to have, a sub-page on each module. And I know these modules are a work in progress, but we thought it would be great if we could update somehow the content there, and you could showcase what you're doing in these modules. So for example, on wine tourism, what we've done is we've put a very brief description. I think we put the learning outcomes of each module as you had submitted. But you could envisage here that you could upload a PowerPoint presentation on the content of the module. You could put some information on the partners who are implementing the module, on the approach. So this is kind of a free space, but we wanted to use it to showcase your work. So we would also ask to the module coordinators if you could, with your module group, foresee something for the website on your module. It can be anything. Like I said, it can be some very basic information. It can be a presentation. It can be links, whatever you think is appropriate. But if you send us that, then we'll update the website and it will make it a little bit richer. We also have the opportunity to announce on the website events and activities, and for example, the webinar that Germán referenced, we have put under news and events. The University of Talca published an article on VITA, etc., etc. So please send us things, because we want to promote on the VITA website, and we also want to promote the VITA website more generally now, more globally.
Hi, Elizabeth. You can hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Agustina here. Okay, I was trying to speak, but I guess my mic was not really well selected, actually. Working, but not well selected. Okay, hello, everyone. It's nice to see you all. And thank you, Elizabeth, for the introduction on tomorrow's meeting. So the idea would be to discuss a little bit the guidelines that I sent you all this morning. If you haven't received those guidelines, you can also send me an email for me to send them again. And I hope I will be able to solve any doubts you may have on the financial justification on VITA Global. So see you tomorrow.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, August. Does anybody have any questions or any final sort of comments or announcements that you would like to make now that we have everybody together?
No.
It's all been done. Okay, so then basically I just want to thank you. I mean, I think that's really helpful. We will get that survey online, we'll circulate it. You have the workshops tomorrow. We will be in touch with you on an individual basis regarding the reporting, and we will continue to be following you in your module discussions and developments. And, you know, at least from the Obrial side, it's been really educational and interesting to take part in some of those discussions. So thank you for that. And I'm working towards my my MSc in viticulture right now through my collective absorption of knowledge. So, but thank you everyone, well appreciated. And
Elizabeth,
yeah, please.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can I just one comment to all partners? We are having this webinar on Thursday. Many of you have already confirmed, but it would be very much appreciated if you can join in and provide us with some feedback at the end. I will be sending an email today on this regard. Thank you. That's the only thing. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Germán. We hope everybody tunes in on Thursday. Do keep in mind that it is in Spanish, but I'm sure we'll have other opportunities to have events in English. We had Obrial, which you received from us, and many of you joined. We've had now 2 webinars where we've talked about internationalizing learning, where we've tried to involve VITA as an example. So we look forward to hearing about further initiatives of that nature. And if you want to do something collectively for the project, please take the opportunity of the survey we're disseminating to share those ideas, and we'll help you from our side get it going. So thanks everybody. It's a real pleasure. I can't wait to see you all in person again. I'm missing that, but we'll get there eventually.
Bye-bye.
Sure.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Good to see you all.
All right, see ya.
Bye.